Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about a show that I don't think has got a lot of talk. That show is Vampire in the Garden, and it has released as of May of this year on Netflix with 5 episodes. Before we actually get into the show, I think you have to talk about Netflix first off with their anime thing. They kind of sus, not gonna lie. The thing with Netflix is that they've just released sucky ass things. You know, they have a couple of good things where they made sure to pick up the license on. Kobe's one of those examples. That was a good thing that they picked up. You know, pretty good, right? I'm pretty sure Netflix is pouring in some money to have a bit of it produced, you know, helping out on that fund and, you know, taking the license of it. So there's like things. They have stuff. Kind of, you know, usually you're going to watch some things more that they just grabbed a license for after the fact, you know, and like even some of the ones that they kind of like disguise as like, no, this is our thing. It's like, no, this was done beforehand and then you scooped up the license, such as like Violet Evergarden or something. There's a couple examples of things where, you know, they actually put a bit of money into that production and, you know, got that license for it. The more like Netflix produced series, you know, and there's like some good examples of like some okay ones, but as of recently there hasn't been that much. You know, I think a classic Devilman Crybaby is like one of the first ones from them, and you know that showed like, damn, you know, maybe they can have some stuff. Past that, the reputation's kind of shaky. Like High Rise Invasion, I hear a lot of people shit on that one. Record of Ragnarok, we could talk about the whole animation quality fiasco on that one. You know, and there's just a bunch of other underrated ones. Yasuke, which is like, you know, it got the press for like, oh yeah, you get a Black Samurai, you know, and people talked about it. I was like, yeah, this is lackluster as shit. They're really just trying to sell it on this one fact. What the fuck, bro? You know, seen a lot of people salty about that. You never really hear good stuff from Netflix. Ripperoni, like, really at the end of the day, they put their eggs in the wrong basket. But I feel this is one of the shows that just hasn't got a lot of notoriety to it. Not too many people have given it a shot. But if they did, you would maybe gain a little bit more faith in Netflix. So, Vampire in the Garden, getting back to the actual topic of this video. It's short, it's sweet, it's pretty bitter, it was a really good watch. So, with it being 5 episodes, that is like one of the, you know, it's a nice enticing factor. But I will say that the 5 episodes is as well a detriment to it, as I think it really could have taken advantage of having more episodes under, like, its roster. I don't think it needed the full 12. At the very least, it didn't need the usual, like, 12 episode, a whole season worth of content. At the end of the day, I think it's somewhat movie length is pretty respectable. I would wish there would be a little bit more. I think they could have made it absolutely perfect with 7 episodes. And with the 5 that we had some really good stuff. But there's certain things where I'm like, we could have developed this more, get more attached through certain things, and it would have been nice. But the plot of this show, because I still haven't explained that yet this far into the video, it is a series where there's vampires, there's humans, basic conflicts, reason they are, you know, at ends with each other is a somewhat obvious thing, you know. Vampires need blood. Humans kind of don't want to be given their blood, you know. You ain't handing out internal organs for free, bro. Like, but like, you know, basic conflict for a vampire show. So the more unique things is between certain areas within the world, they approach this conflict differently, and as well, besides just that, we have a dynamic of creative expression between the two of them, and the humans kind of just don't really do like the creative arts type of stuff. For example, it's like, you know, music boxes are things that vampires have. Like humans, oh, hell no, you don't touch that shit. Music? What the fuck is that? right? That's how the humans are. Well, the world of vampires have more creative things. We start off with a scene like with them at a ball, you know, dancing and shit. You know, they have more lavish looking interior design. You know, they have paintings, you know, again, music boxes, they do singing and dancing, shit like that. You know, they have that stuff of creative expression. So that's where the drive of the main human girl that we follow, Momo, kind of just like, you know, having that desire into the creative expression. It's something that interests her in a way and helps drive the main characters together. And with our main vampire, Finn, they are not fond of the, you know, having to kill humans for blood. They're not really about that shit. It's a vampire who wants harmony. And you know, in the main world, the main area we are set in at first, they are just at all-out war. There's a huge fortress where the humans are kind of at, and there's like castles on the hillsides where all the vampires are. You know, there's all this protective shit like UV lighting, whatever type of lighting and shit that, you know, hurts vampires all around this fortress area. World design just very cool in that thing, like that whole area, cool looking as hell. Static as fuck. I liked it a lot. We really get into story when, in the first episode, the vampires do an all-out assault. You know, they rigged out some things, trying to like destroy the lights and stuff. Get in there, attacks happening. Our main character is at conflict with her mother, who's a war general in some regard, you know, a more political figure within that nation. So she's more outside of these walls, you know, and she's trying to run away, meets up with Finn, gets distracted. Finn gets distracted for plot relevant reasons, which I'll decide not to spoil in this one. He's kind of enticed and is like, you know what? Taking this person, we're going to vibe for a bit, and they go vibe in a mansion. That's a very rough event detail of it. Watch it for yourself to get the full story of it, of course. But from there, it is pretty much a adventure where they get to know each other, you know, not want to be like, yo, vampire, you kill people. You know, get rid of those misconceptions, realize, oh, we cool with each other? We cool with each other. Vibe, and then they want to find a paradise where they can just chill together. They don't have to think about murdering each other, or they don't have to think about how their friends just murder each other and shit. So that's what they're doing. They're retreating, going across the lands, journeying to find a said paradise. And there's a certain lead to it. That's more spoiler things. I won't go into that, but there's a lead, so they have somewhere they're trying to go, and they travel along. Get to see some different areas because of it. We get to see I think a very interesting dynamic nation where instead they're all at war, they just split between two sides on different lake sides, and they do business with each other. Give blood, we give resources type of shit. And I think that dynamic very cool ideas for this whole just world that they kind of just assembled and you're quickly in and out of. That was one of the biggest things, but again, there would be more strength and maybe seeing a little bit more of the journey. We get to stay in these areas, which are, I think, very cool areas at the very least. But seeing the journey and watching them connect would be the big part where I would want to see more within it, but we didn't get much of that. But, you know, there is more conflict when it comes to trying to find this paradise, and it's a somewhat story that feels weirdly nostalgic to me. In a way, it may be somewhat similar to a story I've watched, like, when I'm much younger. Maybe, like, I don't know, similar to, like, Lord of the Rings in a sense, and it's kind of like a venturing type of feel. I don't see why I'm comparing those two at the end of the day, but this is a unique, somewhat fresh. If you look at, like, recommendations, they just recommend a bunch of vampire things because you don't know what the fuck to compare this show with. It's kind of just out there. And I really like that as just out there being its own thing. It just has the basic dynamics of the conflict with vampires, and it doesn't have much else besides that with the vampire thing. It takes those basic roots of vampires, and that's how they use it in the story. There's so much vampire stuff that I don't like. They take just too much from vampire lore and stuff. This one, way more interesting. They go on an adventure, try to find paradise, see what struggles that overcomes. And the ending, again, not going to spoil it. I want you guys to watch it, enjoy it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I think it's a really good series. I highly recommend it. Ending, somewhat sad, somewhat tearful. I got emotional at the end. Why, I ask? You figure it out. Watch it yourself. I definitely got emotional at that ending. It was a bit of a tearjerker. For something as short as that, 5 episodes, literally just movie length, that's pretty impressive. I always think it's a bit more difficult to movies to get the tears, get the emotions out of you, because you have less time to really sympathize with these characters. But this show does very well at, making that easy development of these characters, making them nice and likable, and really wanting to see the best for them. Again, there's some things I desire, but at the end of the day, I think this was a very solid show that nobody's talking about. I think it was pretty good. I suggest it for all of you guys to go watch it. At least for a Netflix thing, it seemed really good. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you liked and enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.